So on quite a lovely sunny late February morning, we're walking from Tower Hill Station along the District Line to Aldgate East Station. First thing of note is the London Wall here. This was first built by the Romans around 200 AD and it started at what is now the Tower of London, and this section remains, so what we see here goes back nearly 2,000 years. But this rather dreary concrete area was the site of a road called Circus, or the Circus, and this disappeared completely in 1975. Circus was built in 1768 to the designs of George Dance the Younger, who was an architect. And just a bit later we'll walk along a street called Hammett Street, and Sir Benjamin Hammett was a city alderman and a property developer who employed George Dance to design a speculative residential development to appeal to merchants to reside in the city near the docks. Like the upcoming street called the Crescent, the name started a fashion for streets to be called circus, such as Piccadilly Circus. This was the very first one anywhere in London. Not the word circus, but its use in street names. During the Second World War, Circus was devastated with just one house surviving the Blitz. In 1975, the Greater London Council, the GLC, demolished Circus and converted the land to a walkway and open space. That's a bit chintzy. The Crescent, which did survive, was the second part of George Dance's plans, and it was the first planned crescent in London and introduced the concept of curved street frontages. Originally it was 11 identical houses, but in 1884 the Metropolitan District Railway sliced diagonally through the Crescent and caused the demolition of the southern part of the houses here we can see here. So this is Hammett Street, and ahead is Tower Gateway, which is one of the Docklands Light Railway termini. Tower Gateway is situated on the site of the former Minories railway station and was opened in 1987 as the western terminus of the initial DLR, Docklands Light Railway. So we'll just cross Minories. Lots of, only two ways to pronounce the street. I've never been sure. But a view of the Tower of London coming in on the right over there. Lovely perpendicular view of the end of Tower Bridge and the Tower of London itself to the right. Shorter Street here used to be part of the Royal Mint Street, which is ahead. And this Ordnance Survey map from the turn of the 20th century shows a completely different street plan with a King Street, a Queen Street and a load of pubs. Also of interest, we would have passed through an area called Sparrow Corner had we walked through here in 1900. And there's some railway infrastructure, a goods depot and a spur line leading to a goods depot. To our right here was the original Royal Mint, which was here until 1966 when it moved to South Wales. Just while we're navigating this junction, I'll just describe the route I'm taking today. So we went along Trinity Place, up into Crescent, along the very short Hammett Street, down through Minories, and then along Shorter Street, and then we've reached this junction and we'll now continue along Mint Street and turn sharp left up Leman Street to Aldgate East station. Mint Street was originally Hog Lane and then called Rosemary Lane, and it was the western extension of Cable Street leading from the junction of Dock Street and Leman Street towards the Tower of London, and it got the name Mint Street in 1850. According to the Royal Mint itself, when the Royal Mint was situated within the confines of the Tower of London, there was a street called Mint Street where the Royal Mint was, and this rather charming image was produced by the Royal Mint themselves and shows Mint Street in the centre and the towers of the Tower of London to the right of this picture. But it's just lovely, and this was the medieval origins of the Royal Mint before it moved outside the walls of the tower to Royal Mint Street here. I'll resume the commentary at the next junction. Leman Street was formerly named after Sir John Leman, but it had been called Leman Street for a long time before that, and this was an old term for a mistress or lover. In 1887, the Cooperative Wholesale Society, the Co-op, opened its headquarters of its London operations on the corner of Leman Street and Hooper Street. This HQ was a 7-storey structure in brick, granite and Portland stone, incorporating a sugar warehouse and a prominent clock tower. There was a large local German community around here. And enough of them to support a Christian home for German artisans, which was later a German language YMCA. And there was also a private German hotel around these parts. As we continue up Leman Street here, I just want to say that there's a version of this video walk without me talking and without all the maps and the edits and the photos that I've used. There's a link to the clean video in the description of this, and also in the description of this video there's a link to the blog, which is a much bigger history of the area, and a link to all the maps and the images that I used. If we go back to the 1750s and the famous John Rock map of that time, we can see that on the left here would have been a large open ground called Goodmans Fields. So we're going to go to John Stow in his 1598 survey of London and hear how he describes Goodmans Fields. Take it away, John.
A farm belonging to a nunnery, at the which farm I myself in my youth have fetched many a halfpenny worth of milk, and never had less than 3 ale pints for a halfpenny in the summer, nor less than 1 ale quart for a halfpenny in the winter, always hot from the cane, as the same was milked and strained, 1 trollop, and afterwards Goodman, were the farmers there, and had 30 or 40 kine to the pail. Goodman's son being heir to his father's purchase, let out the ground first for grazing of horses and then for garden plots, and lived like a gentleman thereby.
Cheers, John. No idea what a cane is. It's spelt K-I-N-E. It was this written history by John Stow which was the inspiration for the sculptures here, the Goodmans Fields horses, which were made by the sculptor Hamish Mackay. So we'll continue up Leman Street, and I'm going to keep stum for a while. Let you enjoy the scenery. So it's all a bit roadworky here up ahead, but Aldgate East Station opened on the 6th of October 1884 and it's mostly underground now, so there's nothing really to see, even without the roadworks. But that's the finish of our very sunny walk.
Good evening, friends. This is Horace Batchelor at the microphone, the inventor of the famous intra-draw method for the treble chance. Don't send any money, just your name and address.
Send now to Horace Batchelor, Department 1, Keynsham, spelt Keynsham, Keynsham, Bristol.